Hello guys! Today I'm gonna continue stitching the mushroom. I'm gonna be stitching the stem and later or tomorrow we will be stitching this bottom part. For both parts I will need 4 colors of beige and brown. Those are the colors that I have. You can see the colors in my color map in the PDF that you can get on my Etsy shop or on my Patreon. There are links in the video description below. So those are just colors that I have. I decided to replace some colors with so I wouldn't need to buy any new threads. So just see what you have and use the colors that you have and only if you don't have some dark brown colors or for example some light beige or any of those colors, so you can buy them. So this is how my mushroom looks like. I removed the stabilizer that I used before for the white marks, and I also stitched this smaller mushroom on weekends and it's really cute. I really like it. Let me know if you take a part in this stitch along. Let's go ahead and stitch the rest. So in my PDF you will find the color guide and all the lines that you will need to follow the color transitions. I decided to start from the lightest color because I have a lot of this color going right here and I will stitch it first. And I'm gonna use long and short shading, and I will use 2 strands of floss so it will be faster to fill this area. I started without the loop because I wanted to have a long thread, so I will start from the teeny stitches. Don't forget that you need to follow the right stitches direction, all the instructions in my PDF pattern. But if you forget, you can draw it just for yourself. So the stem is a little bit curved, so it's gonna be easy to follow the stitches direction. It goes from the top to the bottom. You can stitch it with 1 strand of floss. I decided to go with 2 strands, so it's gonna be faster to fill this area. And I make random long and short stitches. I go a little bit outside of the border that I made for myself, so it's gonna be easier to mix the colors later when I will switch to another shade. If you have any questions, just ask me in the chat and I will try to reply right away. And now I'm moving down and I come up in the middle of my previous row. I come up between the stitches. Sometimes I split those stitches, so it's fine. If you want to make it easier for yourself, you can use stem stitch for filling this area. The row from the top to the bottom close to each other, and you will be able to fill this entire area and it will look similar to the long and short filling. I did this for my pumpkins project, so maybe filling this way will work better for you. If you don't like long and short shading, but for this entire project you will need to do those long and short stitches, so you will be able to do color transitions. If you're not sure that you will do it right, you can practice on some piece of fabric, and after that, when you feel more confident, switch to the real project. For the left mushroom I use only 1 strand of floss, so you can compare how soft the color transition can become if you use only 1 strand of floss comparing to 2 strands of floss. I will go over those curls that you can see in the pattern right now, and later I will just stitch this curl on top of the all existing stitches. So as you can see, there is no sharp edges like right here and on the top, so it should look like long and short stitches, so it's gonna be easier to mix the colors from the next thread. It's just like the base layer that we will use. I'm getting closer to the most interesting part. And the next color is going to be slightly darker. This is Anchor threads and this is the number, but it's not the exact number from my color map. There are colors for DMC brand, so you can follow by those colors. And I'm gonna use 2 strands as well. I will start from the top and I will be moving down. So I'm starting here. This part I will be stitching separately once I will finish this bottom part. So on the top you should have like sharp edges exactly by the shape of this bottom part, and when you go into the previous color you just go a little bit further right here, so you make some color mixing. Let's see how it looks with 2 strands of floss. If it's not smooth enough, I will switch to 1 strand of floss. And here on the top I will add some brown color, some darker color, so I'm skipping this space right here in the corner, so it's gonna be a little shade right here. And yeah, I think later I will switch to 1 strand of floss and I will do some, I will make some additional stitches to make a softer color transition. So I moved to the bottom and here I continue making long and short stitches, and I go into the previous color right here pretty far away. So right here I try to skip the grass area, so I don't stitch on top of it, but you can stitch if you want, if you can remember where it goes. I can easily stitch on top of it later, but for you to make it simple, you can skip it and stitch only where the mushroom stem goes. Okay, I will switch to 1 strand of floss, so I will be able to add some details. We'll start from the top again. See, when you stitch with 1 strand of floss, you can make this much softer color transition, but it will take more time. I know that many people, they are afraid to stitch using only 1 strand of floss. They think that it will take forever, but it's not so scary. You will be surprised how soft the gradient can become when you stitch with only 1 strand of floss. So in this part where all the stitches from the left color and right color, they go in parallel, I will go inside the lighter color and I will add stitches like this, so it will create an effect of color transition. And it also can be and can look really more realistic, because the real mushrooms, they have some strokes right here. They are not like solid colors, you know, so it must look more realistic this way. So I did some stitches on the top, I did some stitches right here, and I will do some stitches on the bottom. It sounds like somebody is cutting the tree or something. It's so loud outside. Let me know guys if you hear it all. So I like it much better right now, and I will complete stitching on the bottom and I will fill it almost till the bottom part. I will also add a little bit darker color on the bottom. Okay, I think I'm ready to switch to darker color, and this is my color that I'm gonna use right now, and I will use only one strand of floss. I will make a few short split stitches to start my thread. So I want to create a shadow on the bottom and a little bit of shadow on the top, which goes from this top part. And later we will also add such outline like you can see on the left mushroom. It can take some time to embroider the bigger mushroom, but once you know the technique and how the process looks like, the next two mushrooms are going to be much simpler and quicker. For the perfect long and short shading, you need to follow the same stitches direction so they will not cross each other. You can lay down this thread like here, like I do this, and it can be easier to decide where to put your next stitch. So I think I finished on the bottom, and you can see the soft gradient which goes to the lightest color and to the darker color, and it looks really nice. So I will make a few stitches on the left to make a shadow right here as well. And the same way I'm moving to the top, so I will add a little bit of shadow on the top, and you can see the more shades I'm using, the more realistic the mushroom became. So actually I practiced on the little piece of fabric before stitching this bigger mushroom, and this is how the stem looks like when it's completed. So that's why I feel so confident. So you can do the same way, just draw a little mushroom on some piece of fabric and practice a little bit and stitch it. Try different colors, maybe you will like other colors more than my colors, so that's totally fine. With a little bit of practice you will feel more and more confident in long and short shading, so you will be stitching the bigger objects with more confidence and you will enjoy the process. And today I will also stitch this top part, and let's start from the lightest color again. I have all the areas already marked right here for the color transitions, and I have some leftovers, so I hope that it's gonna be enough for this part. So I assume that there is a light coming from the top right corner and it goes right here, and we have some light on this part and on this part, and there is some shadow under the cup, so that's why those this is what those color transitions are for, so they can make your mushroom look much more realistic. If you're just new to embroidery, you can stitch everything using just a simple satin stitch and one color, and you can add some outline so it will make your embroidery look like a cartoon, so that's fine. You can use your stitches that you like more. For example, you can replace flange knots with just a regular satin stitch if you like it more, and if it's gonna be easier for you if you're just a beginner and you don't have much experience in hand embroidery and you don't feel ready for long and short shading yet. So I just switched to another color, slightly darker, and continue stitching. Don't be afraid to go far into the previous color. It will help you to make smooth color transitions. There shouldn't be any sharp edge between those two colors. If you see some gaps between your stitches, just keep making more and more stitches in this place until you will fill all the gaps so you cannot see the fabric through your stitches. Okay, on this stage I'm ready to change the color to the slightly darker brown shade. Okay, so this part is ready, it's ready too. So I'm ready to add some outline. And the outline will add some contrast. So for outline, I'm gonna use this color, and I use only one strand of floss, and I'm gonna use split stitch. I will start from here and I make a split stitch really close to the stem body of mushroom that we just made, and as you can see it creates a really nice border, and this part will finally look completed. Let me know guys, how do you like it, without outline or with outline? So this is how my mushroom looks like. I stitched those lines for the bottom part of the mushroom cup, and then I also did some filling to see how it looks like. Is it okay to use the same colors that I used for the stem? So I continue using the same colors from the stem for this part as well. And today we will be stitching this part. I will show you how I did it. So I hope you will enjoy watching this tutorial. First, I will show you how to stitch those lines. I used the darkest brown color, this one, and I used only one strand of floss. So just a simple stitch. You can do a split stitch or you can do it using stamp stitch. I decided to go with stamp stitch, and before stitching those lines I recommend to trace the lines for the color transitions. Lines like this, those are areas for different colors for filling that I will use later. So first, make sure that you have those lines in your pattern, and this is another line like this. Here we have the lightest color. This is the next color that goes after the darkest one. This is the medium color, and the lightest color is gonna be here because we imagined that we have a light coming from the right top side. You have all those lines in your pattern, so it's just one strand of floss, and I do the stem stitch for the veins. I decided to stitch the veins first because later I can forget where they go, and I can easily feel all the rest background between those lines, so I recommend to start from it. And it's just a simple stamp stitch. As you can see, I keep the thread, I made a loop, and I keep it using my left hand. So I put my needle here and I come up in the middle, right where my previous stitch ends, and I keep the loop, and now I let it go. You probably saw this kind of stitch in my video tutorial for the first sampler page. This is a pretty simple outline stitch. If you want to make this line thinner, you can go with a split stitch. Let me finish the stamp stitch first, and I will show you the split stitch. So I like to do split stitch from the top so I can clearly see where to put my needle from the top. It's like a back stitch, but you are splitting the previous stitch. You can split it in the middle, you can split it close to the end right here. Just try to split it. I like to split it in the middle. So as you can see, it creates a slightly thinner line compared to the previous line. I personally like it more when I do a stamp stitch. Let's start filling this area. I like to start from the center, and I will use a darker shade, and this is the color. All the colors for this pattern you can find in the PDF, and you can get this PDF by the link in the video description below. So for filling this area I used long and short shading, and I start between the lines closer to the central part, and then I move from the center to the edges. So when I'm stitching between those lines, I try to not split them. I put my stitches exactly between those stitches that I already made. so it's not gonna be hidden under the stitches. In case if you accidentally stitch it on top of those stitches, you can go back after you finish filling the background with the same dark brown color and add some stitches when you see that they became like hidden under your stitches, and you can bring them back. So when you finish stitching the medium part, you can switch to the lighter color. I have started this color earlier so I can use my existing floss, and this is the color which will go next. This is Encore. This is just a similar color to the one that I have in my PDF pattern mentioned. So it's just Encore, this is the number, but the exact number of DMC color you can find in my PDF pattern. So now I will make a soft transition from the a little bit darker color to the lighter one, and I go a little bit deep in the previous color and make a few stitches like this. So there is no sharp border between those two colors. I want it to look like a gradient, so I make a random stitches, long and short stitches. This is why is this kind of stitch called long and short stitch, and this will give more natural look, and your mushroom will look more realistic if you use a few colors and make some color transitions. I continue stitching until to the edge of the cup, and I fill everything else, all the rest space. There will be no additional stitches going right here. If you want, you can start stitching on the edge, right, and go into the center from here to the center. If you feel much more comfortable with this way, you can definitely go this way. I like to go from the center to the edge in this case. You know, I can show you the way if you would start from this part. Let's try it. So I will switch to the lighter color because we have 3 colors right here going, from the lightest, medium, and a little bit darker brown. So this is my color that I found from Encore's, and yeah, of course you can find the right color with the DMC color code in my PDF pattern. There is a color map with all the color codes that you will need for this project. So right here I have my previous stitches from the cup, and it looks like I already have a border right here, but if you want to have a border on the bottom, you can go ahead and make it. Just use the same color of the thread that you are going to be using for the filling part. And as you remember from my previous lessons, this border that you will make right here, it will be hidden by your long and short stitches. So make sure that you fill it later. This border is needed only just for making the sharp edge for the mushroom. If you want, you can add outline after you finish stitching. It's just for your choice. If you like it, you can make an outline on top of the everything that you will have. If you don't like it, you just make it, you can leave it like it is. And as always, you can try it on, and if you don't like it, you can cut it out carefully, and or you can test it on some piece of fabric that you don't need and see how it looks before trying it on the bigger projects. and I go a little bit further than I have the line over here, so I will be stitching using the next color, and they will overlap each other a little bit, so it's gonna create a gradient. Okay, let's park this thread for later on this side, and I'm gonna switch to the slightly darker color, which is this one. I like to start my thread without knots, especially if I stitch using only 1 or 2 strands of floss. And when I do long and short shading, I like to have my back side neat and clean. It will take some time to fill this entire area, but once you know the technique, it's gonna be really relaxing and calm. I'm like dragging this color from here to here. I will slightly overlap this line to this place, and then I will continue with the darker color. And I'm switching to this color right now. So that's it for today. You can stitch with this color, for example, until you will finish entire this section. Then you can switch to another color and stitch an entire section right here. You don't need to switch from color to color each line like this, like I did right now. I was just showing you how you can do it for this small space. I hope you learned something from my tutorial, and I hope that you tried and your mushroom looks really great. If you need some help, just contact me and I will try to help. Show me some pictures of your progress and share it on your Instagram profile. I'm always glad to see your works. Just practice. It's not a talent, it's a skill that you can develop. So always remember this. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much for all your lovely comments. Maybe check out some other videos on my YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.